So, you're a damage main. Great. Why the fuck are you here? I know why. Because after consistently insta-locking Drogos for the past 15 matches and not giving a shit about who comes next at team comp not really mattering, you have realized you're an incapable sap of a damage player who has a massive ego and a tiny KDA, and finally has decided that it's time to flex, and for some reason, I myself included, because I used to be a damage main, people always flex onto the frontliners first. Why? Because they are easily the most versatile hero pool in Paladins. And who's the tank most people try first? That's right, our flamboyantly flaming frontliner Fernando! Fuck, I'm also pretty sure he's gay, but that's just speculation. I'm not one to judge, and according to DeviantArt, the realm is a very, very progressive place. I'm getting off track again. Where was I? Ah yes, Fernando, the face of the frontliner class, the one you get when you open the box, and the perfect representation of the frontliner class as a whole. His playstyle exemplifies the flexibility of the tank class, showing you that whilst, yes, it is your job to block bullets and be the driving force that will push, you are also not incapable of left-clicking and giving someone a really bad tan. But how do you play him? Why would you play him, and what makes him so diverse? Well, to answer all of the above, I'm going to have to do something you might not like. I'm going to have to make this a two-parter because, simply put, Fernando has two main playstyles. Flank Nando and Tank Nando. And yeah, well, you can mix and match and play with somewhat of a balance between the two. I want to give you guys my take on each of the styles and how to play them correctly. After the fact, go mix and match. I don't give a fuck. That being said, in this episode, we will be focusing on covering Flank Nando and how he compares to the other forms of flanking frontliners. You see, when a tank gets into your backline, it's extremely annoying, but not a massive problem. Unless they bring their team with them, in which case, run, you fool. If a Makoa or an Ashe gets into your face, it's easy to get them down, CC them, cut off their escape and mobility, and you will easily out-damage them and kill them. Flank Nando, on the other hand, is someone you never want to find behind you in a dark alley, because he will most certainly leave you with a burning sensation in your nether regions. His survivability, his damage, more specifically the way his damage is dealt, and especially his mobility, means that he can get into the backline, hunt you down and your best buddies, and then cha-cha-cha his shiny ass out of there. What makes it worse is that if a Flank Nando decides that it's tag team time, and brings a friend to dance all over your face, well, you're gonna have a bad time, because I can guarantee you that a decent Nando will make that flank damn near unkillable as you fold like a wet noodle in frustration. Sounds awesome, and yeah, it is awesome, but people still fuck it up, and it's easy to do so because, well, you're doing it wrong! The funny thing is, flanking with this champion isn't the same as how I've discussed it in prior episodes. Makoa and Ashe both have two things that Fernando doesn't have that make them formidable and fucking irritating. CC and base tankiness. Our sultry Spaniard simply doesn't have the capacity to knock people around and soak up damage whilst returning it in equal copious amounts. His shield doesn't allow him to do that, but what gives him an edge is his lethality and mobility, meaning that Fernando relies heavily on perfect timing and well-coordinated attacks. These are key to his success. He isn't a disruption to the backline like Makoa or Ashe. He's like a dollar store Ezio Auditore, an assassin, like a buff Sky. That's actually kind of useful. You see, your job isn't harassment, it's to get a kill and get the fuck out. Let's take Ashe, for example. Her shoulder bash allows her to punch into the rear frontier with force, but once she's done that, she's stuck there and has to beat her way out. This is known as brewing and is an effective tactic for harassment. But in contrast, as a Fernando, you have your charge, which with safe travel gives you a free bubble, and add to that running start as a card and you immediately have an extra 20% movement speed, which is great for chasing down a flank and should be treated as an extension of said charge. But now that you're in, how do you get out? Fernando has an extra movement ability that is often forgotten, his fireball. before you click away, let me explain! With the Keep Moving card, Fernando gains an extra 20% movement speed if it connects. And since the fireball passes through enemies, that speed stacks! Meaning that if you've made a mistake and bitten off more than you can chew, which, let's face it, is going to happen more than once, you can hurl a great ball of fire at them and fuck right off with your team, or just continue the fight, but now with Nimble 2, making you severe in a team fight and annoying to try and deal with 1v1. This kind of mobility is what enables Fernando to become Flank Nando, using his cards to your advantage. And to be honest, it's a clear example of how impactful cards can be to a match. However, whilst his mobility is a key reason for his ability to flank, it would be nothing without damage, and our dear lad has a shit ton. You see, the way Fernando's damage works allows him to 1v2 quite a bit. That flamethrower may just barely hit 200 per second and has the range of a fucking water gun, but it can hit multiple enemies, meaning that you aren't just doing 600 damage per second, you're dealing 1200! Add to that the fireball with the Scorch Legendary and you can deal roughly 2600 damage to 2 targets in 1 second, and it only stacks with more opponents. But keep in mind that you aren't immortal most of the time, and the more people you end up shooting at means the more people shooting at you. I did the math just for funsies, and the max possible damage Bomb King could do to a team in 1 second hits around 5300 with one sticky bomb and a grumpy bomb. Fernando though? 8193 by underestimate. That's insane, but basically impossible due to the fact that nobody is dumb enough to line their team up in a row and take pot shots from a Spanish dude in what looks like a teacup. But I'm rambling again, and it's now halfway through this video, so I think it's about time we talk abilities, what they do for Nando, and how to use them to flank Nando. Fernando's left click is his Flame Lance. This deals both AoE damage and applies a damage over time effect, which makes it exceedingly effective at killing people who decide to run away. It's very satisfying to hear a ding sound and see someone's name pop up on my kill feed and they thought they were safe. Fucking EVs. His right click we won't really be going into depth about in this video, but rather in the Tank Nando video when that comes out eventually within the next 2 videos. I will get back to you on that, but for now all you need to know is that it is an escape tool, or can be used to block big hits like a Lian ult or suppressive fire from a sniper. Never use this in a fight because it takes away from your overall damage. Next is his movement ability, the main one, the Charge, which does a small amount of damage when you pierce through someone, but is best used for chasing down anyone and everyone, toasting marshmallow asses. It's probably the most basic ability in Paladins, a simple dash forward, but do keep in mind that it is on a 10-second cooldown, and whilst this is not as long as Ashes, it still is a 10-second cooldown. So if you are in a situation where you feel you may need to escape from, keep it off said cooldown. It can also be used in combat just to step out that 20% movement speed and make you a little harder to hit in a team fight. His final non-ultimate ability is that sweet fireball that moves slow as fuck. However, the hitbox is massive and can stack damage and give you some fucking leg steroids, son! This can be used to get in and out of cover, so try and use this both as a damage ability and a movement ability. Just fling this at someone and run. Finally, his ult. And once again, I'm not going to be covering this in this video, rather in the tank video, but I will say this. If someone tells you to behold the Dragon's Fury, your response should be not a fuck, amigo. Itemization is super simple here. Nimble and cauterize. Nimble for obvious reasons, at least obvious I hope. You want to kill targets that most of the time will run away unless they are inebriated, like myself, or just incredibly fucking dumb. You'll want to have Nimble to catch them. And cauterize is just too valuable on Nando to pass up with that sweet AoE damage. The legendary choice is, once again, rather obvious here, at least I hope. Run Scorch. You'll be relying heavily on your fireball, the buffs it provides, and the damage it can do, so use that. Anything else and I will disown you as my subscriber. All in all, as a flank Nando, be careful of your target prioritization and your timing. You are a big manly man tank, but you are not capable of taking on a whole team. Sometimes it is a little better to play defensively for the sake of keeping your team alive. And for the love of fuck, your ultimate is a game changer, so stop wasting it just because you overextended and got punished, you dumb fucking c***. Thank you everybody for watching my Fernando video, my Flank Nando video. I can't wait to do part 2, and that'll be coming up pretty soon within the next 2, maybe 3 videos, I promise. I'm really glad to be back, guys. It's been such a long and boring period, and now that I'm back to playing Paladins, I feel like a potato. But we will cover that soon. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying the live streams I've been doing. I've been trying and keeping content while this video has been preparing, and life's been hectic. But hey, I'm back. I promise now. And there will be live streams coming forward. I will be streaming all my placement matches for Season 3 on Thursday, and I hope to see you guys there. But if you enjoyed this video, please do feel free to leave a like. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will see you in the next video. Ciao.